Okay, so we are all set, Natalie.
All right, sounds good. I'm just still helping somebody troubleshoot. If you see me looking down, that's why, for just
All
a
right.
couple minutes.
Natalie, do you want to just start us out and welcome everybody and just share why you're excited about Juice Plus and a little bit about your experience?
Sure. Yeah. So you guys, thanks a lot for coming. I know your time is precious and we're gonna value that here tonight. I have been, Jamie and the boys have been using Juice Plus for five or 6 years now, and they don't get sick very often at all. And I attribute a lot of that to the Juice Plus. When they do get sick, it's not usually long lasting. And I have tried to take it on and off again, but haven't been able to stick with it because of my food sensitivities. But lo and behold, I have been healed from those and have been taking the Juice Plus for over a month at least now. So I've been taking the fruit. I gradually added in the fruits and veggies and then the berries and the omegas. So I'm doing all 4 products right now and yeah, I can do all that great without any issues. And I'm looking forward to seeing the effects of it. I just know from you guys know a lot about my health journey, probably most of you do. And it's it all goes back to inflammation, and I know how much that contributes to every illness there is out there. I mean, that is basically the root of all illness, and all of these products help with that. And it's an outstanding product. I don't want to go into the whole spiel because that's what Julie's going to share with you more about, but I don't really endorse that many things. And food products, there isn't anything else that I endorse or get behind. So that just goes to show you that I think very much of this product and this company. So thank you for listening. I'll turn it back over to you, Julie.
Oh,
Julie, I know from St. Louis, church, friends. She's
mm.
my hippie wellness geeky girl. So
I love it. Wellness geeky girl. I've been called worse. So I know I have. Natalie, we've known each other for what? I don't know. A long time, over a decade for sure.
yeah, it has been.
So
I was just thinking at least 2013.
yes, I love that. I love that. Well, I will share a little bit more about my story, but I was the one that told Natalie about Juice Plus, and I'm so glad to be able to share this product with her and with her friends and her family. So thank you for being here. This presentation lasts about 15 minutes. You're going to hear a lot of information. I find it fascinating, so I hope you do as well. But why are we here is because we are all on somewhere on the spectrum of health. Either we are sick and want to regain our health, or we have our health and vitality and we're hoping not to become sick. But every single one of us understands that this is a journey and it's not stagnant. Every day we are either putting ourselves in a position to grow more, to have more vitality, or to be more sick. We don't just stand in one place. So recognize that we're either putting things in the health column or in the sick column. So we are here today to talk about how we move forward on the vital column. So this is the ickiest slide, if you will, but it is the reality of today. We are dealing with an unprecedented amount of disease in our population. Autoimmune disease is on the rise. I know even just a couple of generations ago, when my mother was my age, she had no idea what an autoimmune disease even was. So although this is extremely common, it is not normal. Common, but not normal. 1 in 4 will die of heart disease. It's the #1 killer of men and women. And then, of course, we have cancer rates, diabetes, and then an epidemic of obesity, both in children and in adults. So David Katz, who's head of prevention at Yale, says our children are more harmed by poor diet than by drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. Fortunately, I do feel like the tide is turning. Juice Plus has been around for 30 years. Has been sharing this message of powerful nutrition and what it can do in the body. I feel like that story is finally starting to become more mainstream, and people are starting to realize that we don't have to be a victim. There is actually things that we can do. So let's look, though, back it up a little bit and look at how we view food. If you want to take the analogy of an iceberg, we really see what 20% of the iceberg when there is 80% hidden from view. And what we see when it comes to food is our macronutrition. This is what everybody loves to talk about: protein, fats, and carbs. It's what all your diets are based on, right? Keto or paleo or vegan or high fat, low carb. I mean, we just try to put these all together any which way we can to help us to have health. But what we're not realizing is that those fats, proteins, and carbs are made up of things that we don't ever see. And that's the micronutrition in the food, the vitamins, the minerals, enzymes. That's what makes our food either nourishing or empty. So we are the most overfed people, the most overfed generation, but undernourished because we have a plethora of things that we can eat, but so few that are actually nourishing our bodies and are filled with that micronutrition. So the purpose of food, I think we all understand. Our macronutrition is to build our bodies and to fuel our bodies. But what does that micronutrition does? It actually conditions our bodies. So let me expand a little bit more on that. The function of the system is our physiology. And our bodies are all made up of systems. Our bodies are made up of systems. That's what we are. We're a bunch of different systems working together. So here are just a few of our systems. And how our body responds is how well our systems are functioning. So how well does your cardiovascular system regulate after you have a high fat meal? How well does your muscular system recover after you do a workout? How well does your immune system regulate itself when it's exposed to pollen? We're dealing with allergy season right now. When we are struggling with allergies, there's a system that is not functioning well. Okay. Again, we call it normal, but it's not. It's just common. So this is where Juice Plus comes in, because Juice Plus is micronutrition. We do have a macronutrition option too, but really where Juice Plus started, and I'm going to share the story of Juice Plus because I think it's amazing, is focusing on micronutrition. So 30 years ago, this product has been around 30 years, a doctor, a more holistic doctor named Dr. Santillo, was helping cancer patients to heal using juicing. Okay, so this was super, rare, unusual back then, but he was having really great success with that. And so what was he doing? Well, he was juicing with his patients, but then what happened was his own father got diagnosed with lymphoma and was given 3 weeks to live. Dr. Santillo went to the hospital, picked him up. They didn't really have hospice back then, but said, I'm just going to take him home. Took him home to his office and thought, okay, I've got a chance. I'm going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to pump him full of juices. But he wanted to make them even more powerful than they already were because his dad was in really bad shape. So what he did was use vine ripened produce. And still to this day, that is one of the main things that sets Juice Plus apart. I want you guys to realize that unless you're growing it yourself or buying it from a farmer's market, you are no longer eating vine ripened produce. It's not in your markets. What you can identify in your grocery stores or your local markets are hard avocados, green bananas. We're about to come into stone fruit season. We'll be seeing peaches and pears and nectarines, all of those things. You're going to notice they are almost always not ripe. And what you don't know, or maybe don't know, I didn't know, is that most of that nutrition will not be in that fruit because the fruits and vegetables were meant to ripen on the vine. 85 to 90% of the nutrition comes into the plant when it's ripe. When we pick it early, you can ripen it in a bag on your counter, which is what I do, but it's never going to have that nutrition. And Dr. Smokey knew that. And so he used vine ripened produce. He took it, but not just the produce. He took the peels, the pits, the seeds, the rinds, and even the leafy greens when applicable. And he threw them all into a big Vitamix and created a slurry. So blended them all up. And then he dehydrated those powders. It took taking out the water and the sugar to just have what we see today as our plant powders. And then he went one step further and he encapsulated those. And so if you have another plant powder or something that you're taking, a lot of times they're in big tubs, but unfortunately, every time you open that and you scoop into it, it's oxidizing and losing its potency. Juice Plus is all encapsulated, which really keeps it just as pristine as the time that it is picked. So these are our plant powders. You can see a beet, you can see beet powder. It's the same thing, just a different way of ingesting it. So our plant powders hit the market in 1993, and we have never stopped sharing it since. So Juice Plus is the first and only kind of supplement that I have found in the last 6 years that I've been sharing. I have never found anything that meets these three conditions. The first is that it has a nutrition label. So if you would turn our bottles back to the back of them, instead of seeing a supplement label, which is what you're going to find in every single other sort of vitamin that you would buy, we have a nutrition label because it truly is just food. They're plant powders, the salad bar in the capsule, we call it. And because of that, our body recognizes these powders because they're not isolated, they're not synthetic, they weren't made in a lab, they are as nature intended. We don't go outside and find vitamin trees. We go outside, we find fruit trees and vegetable plants and berry bushes. That's what we find. And that's what's in our Juice Plus. So it has a nutrition label. The second thing is third party certified. So the supplement industry is not regulated. So we have nobody looking out for us unless a company chooses to have a third party certification, which is very expensive. And I will have you know that less than 5% of your supplement companies have a certification. Juice Plus has the top one and has had for 20 years. We test our batches not once, but 2 times. So your capsules are tested twice to guarantee that there are no herbicides, pesticides, funguses, molds, anything at all. So really, I say it's better than organic because unfortunately, organic is good, but it still means that things can be sprayed on it, and things are sprayed on it just to a lower level. That is not the case with Juice Plus. There is nothing sprayed on your produce at all. It's the cleanest produce that you could possibly eat. And finally, we are the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. So I love that Natalie said she doesn't really recommend a lot of things. Well, the only thing she recommends is the best thing out there. It's the most researched brand name nutritional product. It's also the best selling nutritional product in the world, which is amazing. So all three of these things, simple, powerful, and proven, which is why I love sharing Juice Plus. Here are some results from our research. It's a kind of busy slide because we have a lot going on in our research. There's a lot going on in the slide. But if you read through it and you kind of go back to the systems that we talked about, our research really focuses on the different systems. We're not treating a specific disease, we're looking at systems. So you're going to see how it contributes to cardiovascular wellness, how it supports cholesterol, metabolism, your lung function, skin and gums, immune system. So again, helping our systems to function better. And when our systems are functioning better, we then are enjoying better health. I do want to camp out on just one study because as we talked about, the number one killer of men and women is heart disease. So this study is done at the Journal of American Cardiology at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, which are that's a very high-end journal, and that's a very good school where they do pretty important research. So this was the brainchild of some cardiologists who knew that most heart attacks are happening after a high-fat meal. So Christmas, the Super Bowl, Thanksgiving are not great days in the emergency room. So what they did is they took a group of people to McDonald's and they fed them all a high-fat meal. And then they took them back to the lab and they measured their brachial arterial constriction in their arm, where one of the main arteries runs. And they saw how much constriction each of the participants had. And you can see in the first graph there, the first bar, they all had about 50% constriction. I know it's a little blurry, so I'm kind of reading it for you. They all had about 50% constriction. So that artery was clamping down and having 50% of the room for that blood to flow. So what they did was divide into three groups: a placebo group, a group that was on our red and our green, our veggies and our fruit, and then another group that was on all three of our blends: veggie, fruit, and berries. For 28 days, they took the Juice Plus. They did not do anything else. They just took Juice Plus. 28 days later, took them back, fed them the same high fat meal, took them to the lab, measured that arterial constriction. The middle bars there are the fruit and veggie that were on the fruit and veggie. And you can see the first line, that's the placebo group. They still had right around the same amount of constriction, but the next group, the purple bar, that was after 28 days, had a reduction in constriction to 60% less constriction. And then we go to the last set of bars. That group had the most constriction down there at over 50%. And if you can even make out that little purple bar, they ended up with 97% less constriction, 3% constriction, which is basically no constriction at all. And why I love this is because, did those people feel differently? Do you feel your brachial artery constricting? No, you don't. But that is what causes heart attacks. So it's not that we feel disease happening, but what this shows is that fueling our body with good can help our systems to work better and to handle the ick that comes our way. We don't have to be perfect and eat Juice Plus. We're going to have days where we eat pizza and we have fast food, but our body can handle it better because of the micronutrition in Juice Plus. So I absolutely love that study. We have two other products that round out our product line. The next one is our Juice Plus Complete, which we say is kind of our healthy fast food. I know that my children love these and enjoy having a shake. They would have a shake every single day if they could. And I have 8 children, so not everybody has a shake every single day, but they would if they could. And we love to make these up and just, they're snacks, and in the afternoon, they're chocolate and vanilla, and they have another 15 plants in there. So it is lovely because it keeps the blood sugar stable. So that's why I really love these shakes, because there's a lot of fiber, and then it just really sets me up for hours of not having blood sugar being going up and down, which then can lead to not great choices. So absolutely love our complete shakes. And the best part is they taste delicious. Also, if you flip that bag around, you're going to find a food label. This is not a supplement. This is why I could give my very young child, when she was 2, she had complete shakes. I would never pick up a protein shake from Costco and give that to my 2-year-old, but I would give her a complete protein shake from Juice Plus. And then our last product that I want to highlight is our omegas. These are plant-based. So the best thing is they don't taste like fish. So that's from just, I don't enjoy having the fish taste. If you've ever taken fish oil, this is what this is replacing. The downside of those is the fish are swimming in oceans that have toxicity, so you're getting that passed on to you. Also, they taste like fish, and you often keep burping that up. Ours have no fish. We went straight to the algae, and then we also added in 4 other plant oils, so it's a wide spectrum. It's not just omega-3, it's omega-5, 7, 9, and 6, because they all occur in nature and they all have different just goodness to them. We do not make omegas. That's why they call them essential. We don't make them. We have to get them from somewhere else. And so this is a great choice for that. It's proven to raise, we have research that shows that it raises your omega blood level within 8 weeks of being on the Juice Plus Omega blend. So really, really important. You could talk to your doctor. If you're low in omegas, this would be a great choice. So I talked about 3 things that set Juice Plus apart. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight. The 4th thing, actually, so I said there were 3, there are actually 4. And the 4th thing is that 20 years ago, we had a wonderful doctor, Dr. Jim Sears, that was having his own experience on Juice Plus. He had colon cancer and was recovering and was using Juice Plus as a part of that. But he was a pediatrician and he wanted to be able to share this with kids. And so he came to the Juice Plus company and asked, is there any way we could, if an adult was taking Juice Plus, could a child take it for free? And the company rallied and said yes. And so for 20 plus years, we have basically a 2-for-1. If an adult takes a Juice Plus and eats Juice Plus, a child from the ages of 4 to 25 years of age can take Juice Plus for free as long as that adult is taking it. We do have chewables if your child is young and can't take capsules, or we have chewables for adults too. But that is and is available and is one of the best things I think about Juice Plus, and was the way that I got to that's the way that I started taking Juice Plus. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can just share my story with you real quickly, how I found Juice Plus 6 years ago. As I mentioned, I have 8 children, but I had a son who was really struggling with asthma. And he had a different start to his life. All of my children were very healthy and we never really had any issues, but he was born prematurely, spent time in the NICU, and started his little life full of antibiotics. And what I didn't know then is that when you have antibiotics in the first year of life, you have a 50% greater chance of developing asthma later in life. So at 2.5, when he really couldn't talk, but he kept telling me his stomach hurt, I went to put him down for a nap. And thank goodness I looked at him closely and thought, you look blue. And my mama instinct kicked in, and I rushed him to the emergency room where they quickly took him back. His oxygen saturation level was in the 70s. And that would be the first of 4 hospitalizations for him. So this was not getting better. It was getting worse. It was only happening every 6 months, but every time it happened, it was, an ER visit and then finally a pediatric intensive care unit stay. At this point, I got prescriptions from a doctor, finally got a diagnosis of asthma. And when they're really young, they won't diagnose them that quickly. It could be several things. Finally got a diagnosis, and they wanted to put him on inhalers, which obviously that's the normal course for the medical, if we're walking in that direction, that's what they're going to do. I, in doing my research, was not comfortable with that. I did not want my 4-year-old on steroids. I just figured, obviously, it was serious. I needed to do something, but I thought if I put him on these steroids, nothing's going to change. That's a symptom manager. That's what it is. It's managing symptoms, but it's never going to get to the root cause. I need to get to the root cause. Why is this happening to my child? I figured I had 6 months to work with. I took the inhalers, I took them all and I put them in the back of my closet. If something would happen, I had them, but I did not start him on them daily. What I did start him on daily, you guys, was Juice Plus. And I did so because I had a friend who kept telling me about Juice Plus. Maybe like Natalie's continuing to tell you about Juice Plus. And I will tell you, I ignored her for a long time. But she finally was like, listen, if we get Juice Plus for Elijah, if somebody would sponsor him, right, for free, would you take it? And I was like, well, free's free. Yeah, I would not take it, right? I knew her. I trusted her enough that I knew it wasn't some like snake oil that she was peddling. So I was like, okay, yes, I will take it. So we started taking Juice Plus. When I say we, I gave one red capsule, one green capsule to Elijah, and I took a red and a green. I was pregnant with our 8th baby at the time. I had no expectation of anything happening, but I thought, well, it cannot hurt. But I've never been so glad to be wrong, because Elijah was never hospitalized again. Elijah never took those inhalers. He walked out of his asthma. Now, did he do it overnight? Not at all. And in 6 months, did he have another asthma attack? He did, but it wasn't as severe. It was less severe, and it did not call for an ER run for us. We were able to just kind of manage it at home. And every time that happened after, it got better and better. He's now 10 years old, and it's been 4 years since anything has happened. And I would not tell you that my son struggles with asthma anymore. He doesn't. So that was incredible. There's research that shows, though, why that happened. That's my story, but there's research on lung function that shows why that happened. Because when we change our microbiome, when we change our gut, we change the systems in our body. We actually change the lungs and how we respond to things. There is a study out of WashU here in St. Louis, where I am, that shows that if you eat an apple when you're having an asthma attack, you can lessen the asthma attack. So what's in Juice Plus? Fruit and vegetables. At the same time, I was pregnant and had always struggled with anemia my whole adult life. And within 3 months on Juice Plus, that anemia disappeared and has never come back. I've had normal hemoglobin levels since then. I had tried everything before that. Iron, which is what people usually tell you if you're anemic. I did all the things. but it was the synergy of everything that's in Juice Plus working together that helped my body to respond better, to have my systems regulated. So that is my story about Juice Plus, which I absolutely love to share. So thank you guys for listening. That went by so quick for me. I hope it went by quickly for you as well. I am going to stop the recording and